Hey everybody, Adam Savage. I am with Brandon Alinger from Propstore.
Hey Adam, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
You guys have an auction coming up, and we cover a lot of Propstore's auctions over the years, and you guys often have like big flagship items in an auction. You don't always, but sometimes
we try to. We hope to.
Yeah.
Yes, we aspire to.
This here in front of us is the attention getter. I've never even seen this version of a Pelican case.
The vault.
The vault. Yeah. Clearly you've gone up and over the top for this. This is maybe one of the most iconic pieces we've ever covered on the channel.
I mean, this piece very much deserves the vault. This is arguably the best headliner we've ever had.
Really? That's exciting. A bold statement.
Yeah. Look, it's subjective, so that's might be my personal opinion.
Fair.
But I just think this is a really big deal. And here, let's get it. Let's crack it open.
All
Got a
right.
little button there.
Oh, but okay.
Ta-da!
Dude, okay. Tell me officially what this is. This is
a hero Darth Vader lightsaber, but it is the fighting version or the bladed dueling version.
From which of
From
the...
Empire and Jedi.
From Empire and Jedi!
So it's his main fighting lightsaber from those two films. And you see what's so immediately sort of attention-getting about it is these little Allen head bolts in the side of the body, which are securing in these aluminum cylinders, which have this steel rod coming through, which is what is strong enough, shores up the structure so they can mount the blade.
I see. So these 4 countersunk Allen screws are basically making the structure so that the performer can fight with this.
Exactly. Yeah, because they had to mount a blade somehow, right? They had to have a stick. I mean, I'm sure you know the story. Star Wars fans know the story. The first movie, they wanted it to be a practical in-camera effect. They put the motors in the handle. They spun the blades
with some Scotch-Light on there.
Exactly.
I love all of the exertions they applied trying to get that to be a practical effect.
But it didn't work, right? They rotoscoped it, and then for the second one, they just did away with that. It was like no motors, no spinning. Let's just have a blade that they can fight with. And this is what they came up with for that. So, all of this is just about finding a way to mount a blade very securely in a real flash handle, because this is the MPP micro flash.
Right. Oh my God. I'm noticing some key things here. I love that the T-tracks are actually screwed on with slotted screws.
Oh yeah.
Not a common detail on the lightsabers.
On replicas.
On replicas.
Yeah. Look at all the old glue in there. I mean, you can tell these grips were probably just failing again and again. This one's been broken away completely.
Plus, I see contact cement. Not always the best way to glue things to metal.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what they had in England 45 years ago. Yeah.
And then also the dented shroud here. This has seen some real action.
All of it. And I mean, you see the cutout here. I mean, this is like, that looks like a piece got hit, was hanging off, and then somebody had to go in with a file or a cutting tool and clean it up so it didn't kill anyone.
And that looks like it took a direct hit from the other
100%,
blade.
100%, that's what that is. Yeah. The D-ring is something they added to the prop. I think just to match the other version. I doubt they ever had this on his belt, because why would you with the blade? But so basically with lightsabers in all the movies, you've really got 2 per character, maybe with some slight variances, but everybody has a bladeless hilt, right? Which is on the belt, so for when the blade is not turned on, and then everybody has a fighting version with the stick.
And the fighting version changes, it's different than the belt hanger because it needs the structure for fighting.
Exactly.
The prop does.
Yeah. And this, obviously, it doesn't have the blade. We wish it did. Nobody has a blade in private collection as far as I know, but the blade is really just a wooden stick with a little aluminum collar at the bottom and some Allen head screws. You can see them in some production photos and get a really good sense of what they were.
This would be something that they would throw into a bin full of sticks at the end of production. Like no one would consider it an interesting object.
Right, or even a prop.
Right.
But this, so, I mean, nobody has really ever seen this. It's been locked away for decades.
This has been in a private collection this whole time.
Yeah, coming to light for the very first time. There's never been any decent pictures of it. You get some looks at it in the movie. We've been able to screen match and photo match a couple small details, but most of the time, it's either Dave Prowse or Bob Anderson, the stunt double, and they've got those big Darth Vader gloves wrapped around it.
You get no details.
You just don't see it. Yeah.
So this, I mean, a lot of times, a lot of the flagship stuff we've covered here has come through your hands before, and there are some familiar visitors in your line of work. That's amazing that this, like the Blade Runner blaster, has been hidden all this time.
Right. It is a similar thing, right? That nobody had seen that for decades. Nobody had great photos of it, and then one day it turns up. I mean, that's what this is really. And people have seen Hero Darth Darth Vader lightsabers because there is another one out there. The hilt version is out there, and so there are good photos of that. But the dueling one, this is really the first time that it's been well seen. And it's just, look, lightsabers, it's probably like the number one. It's kind of like if you were saying, what's the prop that defines the RPF? It's got to be a lightsaber. Think about the replica companies like Icons. Like all those guys were founded on lightsabers. Master Replicas founded on lightsabers. Like it is the kind of movie prop that people think they may want to own, right?
It's the first Star Wars prop I replicated when the Magic of Myth came through San Francisco. I took pictures of Luke's Empire lightsaber. And I actually, since I've held it up to not an original, but like a casting of an original, I got impressively close for making that out of Kodak snapshots. So that's.
And what year is that?
That's going to be 90. That's early 90s, 94. 95. I got to say, for a piece that's been banging around, the amount of abuse this shows is totally delightful.
Yeah, it's so many originals, when you get them in your hands, there's something about them. They have a character and a quality to them, frequently because of the roughness, right? The crudeness that you just wouldn't really see on something someone made themselves recently. I mean, to me, it looks like it's been worked on again, and things have broken, and they've had to put it back together. And I love how the calculator bubbles, it's not just the bubbles, you've got the circuit board underneath it.
You can see the green and the copper underneath. They've cut it all of a piece.
Which, like, when Icons was doing lightsabers, no one was doing, nobody had seen that side of it, that they left that in there.
I'm delighted that we get to answer some probably burning questions for the people that know this prop so well, but with some of our B-roll here.
What else stands out to you as you...
I'm noticing on the T-tracks on the grip, they're held in with slotted screws, except for the one that's missing. They clearly replaced them with Phillips screws, but that wasn't. It was not enough to hold it on. But this one little hanging chad of plastic remains.
And you could restore that. It's an interesting debate. I feel like if you were missing 4 or 5 of the grips, you might go, we need to restore the grips because it doesn't look quite right. But when you're only missing 1, I feel like you just leave it and just let it be. You could leave it.
I would. If I was the one buying this prop, if I personally owned it, I would probably pull off one track, mold it, pop it back in there, and you'd never be able to tell it was different.
But if you were doing that, would you try to graft in the existing bit?
No. I'd have that as a separate...
separate display.
Separate display.
Shadow box.
I would try, I even love that, like, these slotted screws are a different size than these slotted screws.
It's just whatever the prop man had in his toolbox on the day, I'm sure. And see some spray paint back here, this looks like? This black colored paint between the grips, like, what is that about?
And then there's also some... it shows so much handling, but also that the fact that this little bit of plastic is still hanging on by one screw, that tells me that whoever has been holding on to this has been taking very good care of it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's been treasured for the recent years, but probably abused at the time of production in the line of duty. But here's another thing that I was thinking about is it's really fascinating that they bothered to stick with the same MPP that they were using as the kind of hero belt version, as opposed to just going, well, nobody's going to see it anyway because they're fighting with it, so let's just make it a pipe. Because wouldn't it be easier to just build it out of a pipe than to have to engineer all this into the flash?
It would be, except that there's also the fact that these were plentiful at the time. I bet they were quite easy to come by. And so they were like, okay, we need 6 of these, let's just order 6 of them from the camera store. They may not have been quite that, but...
They were around.
They were around.
In England, in a sense.
And I feel like these are even more around than the Graflex.
Really?
Well, given how many of these I've seen versus how many I could be totally wrong about that.
I think the thing about this, the MPP, is it's UK specific. I think is also why people figured it out a lot later, because us Yanks had never seen these MPPs. We needed our British allies to help identify the proper Darth Vader flag. Because for years, people thought this was a Highland.
Oh, right.
The Highland synchronizer or something.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and then at some point somebody found the real one, and it was like, oh, okay, it's not a Highland.
It's like eventually we need a timeline on the RPF for when stuff was discovered, right? Like the Volvo as the back of the Honda Carbonite panels and stuff like that.
The Star Wars knowledge base.
Exactly, because so much of it was discovered on the clock at the RPF in the last 20 years.
But I remember, there's a book that came out in the 90s, around the time that exhibit you're talking about, From Star Wars to Indiana Jones,
one of the best reference manuals ever.
And so there's a photo in there of a different Darth Vader lightsaber, which was a backup that was made out of a Graflex. It's one that was Luke's in Empire. They converted it to be a Darth Vader for Jedi, but it has these Allen bolts. And that was the first time I saw the Allen bolts. And I remember sort of thinking, like, what is that about? It seems like you don't see that in the movie,
Right. It's not something you picked up on. Oh man, that From Star Wars to Indiana Jones was a book that just told me so much about how different things were built for different films.
Yeah. You still have it?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. Well, especially because there's like 25 pages of the Grail Diary replicated in full open-face scans. That's how I started building my replica.
And maybe still the only book that shows Indiana Jones props, because there's been so many Star Wars books since then, but Indiana Jones just never gets quite the same amount of love.
It's true. That's a shame. I don't know what else we could say about this. I'm astounded still that I am able to touch this iconic piece of film history.
I mean, look, it's sort of, there's a simplicity to it, but there's also just a depth in the character that it has, the kind of work and rework and adjustments and modifications that you can see on it. And I think ultimately it's just like, it's more than Darth Vader's weapon. It's such a symbol of Star Wars. When you look at lists of the most iconic movie props of all time, the lightsaber, not necessarily Darth Vader, but just general lightsaber.
Yeah.
Always on that list.
It's way up there.
It's like, what prop from the last 50 years, maybe from all time, is more memorable than the lightsaber?
I think you make a reasonable argument. The auction is coming up soon.
Yes, September 4th to 6th here in Los Angeles at the Peterson Automotive Museum.
Amazing. Brandon, thank you for letting me see this thing up close. I never imagined I would get such a chance, and I'm going to put it down right now. There we go. We're done. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you we have some excellent merch. We have a 5-pack of demerit badges for sale right now at tested/store.com. We've got the I hung it off of level demerit badge, the I built the chair backwards demerit badge, the I hit my thumb with a hammer demerit badge. We've got the stapler in my finger demerit badge, and my favorite, I stuck the duct tape to itself demerit badge. Get yours now, tested/store.store. Tested-store. Tested. It's right here. There. Just click there.